I just sat here and recorded for 30 minutes and, well, I wasn't recording. And now I have to repeat everything I said. Anyway, I take off these glasses to get rid of the glare, and I will be blind for a while. Hello, welcome to An Honest Monologue. I am Daese, and I just kind of wanted to make a quick video talking about something that's been going through my head recently. It's about my streaming experience. How since the ending of January, I've streamed almost 150 hours, and just kind of my thoughts, the good, the bad, some experiences, and some connections to things that have happened recently that kind of connect to the good and the bad that I want to talk about. But I guess before I get into all that, do all the things and follow the things and play the blah, blah, blah. You know, the things everybody says out there. So if you just want a quick synopsis of what I'm going to say before I say, in a long-winded format, the gist of it is this. Throughout my almost 150 hours of streaming, there's been mostly great things, and there's been a couple bad things that I kind of want to go into specifics on that have to do with just emotions, streaming, kind of dealing with the two in tandem. And maybe with that talk, it'll help somebody out there with some of what I was thinking about when I was going through what I was going through. With that being said, let me just start with the good and get right into some specifics. So the end of January when I started streaming, I was streaming whatever I could, whatever game I had. So stuff like Street Fighter 6, Smite, and Super Auto Pets because I found it on the Steam page and it was free. I also did one fitness stream. That was super awkward because I still had my 720p webcam and I couldn't really angle it to do or see anything, so that was great. First game that I really wanted to stream was going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So scuffness aside, my whole plan there was to get the capture card, get the setup going, and start a remake playthrough, so I replayed through that, played the intermission DLC, and the whole plan was to play through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth when it came out. And that is exactly what I have been doing. I'm about 75 hours into the game or something. I think I'm 3/4 of the way through, something like that. I don't know. Hard to know how long a game is when you haven't finished it, and it's as big a game as that game is. So anyway, that aside, when I have been streaming that game, most of it has been great. Me sitting there talking to myself, kind of like what I'm doing now, making jokes when I feel like making a joke, just talking about how good the game is or things that I don't like, or getting frustrated with certain mini games that are in that game. Glad that's done. This has been the worst part of the game. Probably the most boring video / stream I've ever put out on the internet. But it's fucking over. It's all mostly been pretty great. So I guess you could say that just streaming in and of itself for me has been good. Like the act of streaming a game and doing the streamer thing, I've really enjoyed. Over my 150-ish hours, I wasn't planning to amass some huge following and start getting 50 viewers every day or anything. I'm coming into this very much as a hobby and just something that I thought that I would enjoy doing, and so far I've been correct. Except for one thing really that I'll get into now. So like most human beings, I had a bunch of life stuff going on that was happening outside of what people see. And what was going on that I'm not going to go into detail now with was really affecting me that day mentally, emotionally, somewhat physically, I guess you could say. And so when I got home that night, the kids were put to bed, I still decided to stream that night. So I turned on the game and I started the stream and I started doing the thing, but I realized that the energy was entirely different. Not only did I not feel like I was streaming my regular self to nobody, or sometimes almost nobody, but I also felt like the best way to put it is to say that I was putting on a face of sorts. Now, you don't know me at all. Maybe one day you will. But I personally hate having to pretend or say things that I don't mean or act a way that I don't want to act. But for some reason, when I went on stream that night, I thought that if I streamed and I showed how I was feeling or doing that, then it would be worse for the stream, I guess. And really the opposite of what I was doing was just as bad, which was trying to work through it and force it down. I don't want to say, but that's the term I'm going to use, and just carry on and play the game and try to act as if everything was the same. So I think that stream ended up being about 5 or 6 hours. And other than the stream I did last night with Rebirth, where there was this mini game I was getting incredibly frustrated with, I feel like it was my worst stream yet. And mostly is just because it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun to sit there and play a game and talk to no one and try to pretend to be happy for no one. Now, to kind of coincide with that, there's been a couple things recently that have showed up online that I've seen a little bit of. I go on Reddit maybe for like 5 minutes. I look at a couple comments on a post or two, and then I get off and I go about my day. It doesn't bother me that much. And the first thing that I kind of want to make coincide with what I'm talking about here was the whole Hasanabi thing that he said about streaming and how it makes him like socially exhausted or whatever after 9 hours. You know, the whole thing. And the experience I had didn't make me agree, but it made me empathize. Now, I don't necessarily disagree either. If you want a nobody's opinion on that whole conversation, it really is simplified to just there are good and bad things that happen with everything. Every job, every decision, there are good and bad.
It just so happens that sometimes the good outweighs the bad, and some people don't have that good that comes with the bad. So it's a whole
and you really have to go into the weeds of every kind of conversation like that, and that's not what I'm here to do. So anyway, what that situation really showed me when I was thinking about my own, so why I want to bring up that situation and why I'm trying to coincide it with what I am talking about with my situation really has to do with the whole emotional side of it. I couldn't imagine before, and I still can't imagine, how many streamers out there are going through shit in their lives and they decide to go live for 8 or 9 hours to more people that they have to worry about seeing them, and they deal with that and they hold it down, or they do what they want to do and they get through it and they make a good show sometimes. And so to be as real as I can be and as simple as I can be, what I went through in my situation just kind of made me empathize a little bit, made me think a little bit more about stuff like that. It made me think that as I currently am, maybe I'm not ready. Now, the second thing is a bit more serious, and it's talking about people and situations that I don't know the full extent of. These people don't know me, obviously, and I don't know them at all because they're streamers and I don't know them as people. But the second thing that I saw actually today while I was waiting to pick up my kids from school was I saw this whole thing about Tectone and his wife and how he was streaming and like he was on this subathon. And during the subathon, he apparently knew that his wife was cheating. Like I said, I don't want to get into all that. I just want to kind of take that situation, take the emotional and mental side of it and kind of connect it to what I'm trying to talk about. And I don't know these people or that situation well enough to comment on it as a nobody, as people who don't know these people. But as someone who has been cheated on and been through certain things in my life, I don't think I could have been on stream and handled that. Like, it's props to him and it's props to anyone else who can really go through something serious like that and maybe not necessarily put on a fake face, but to be emotionally and mentally resilient enough to stream and attempt to entertain while going through those serious things they're going through. I'm not going to get into the details on my situations or my life in the past that I have, but I will just say that, 80% of the times that I got cheated on, I definitely didn't handle it that well. And like I'll say it again, I don't really know those people, but you have to give props to someone who can be that way. So connecting that all back to me and what I was trying to talk about with what I went through, when I was sitting there streaming, having those thoughts and feelings that I was having, it started to make me have those thoughts that I wasn't having in the other 145 hours or whatever of streaming, and that's that maybe this isn't for me, and maybe that is true, maybe it's not. But the whole point is that I want to take my situation in that stream and what I did that day, try to learn from it and be better in the future. If this streaming turns into something, if it doesn't, then I just want to make sure that I am that emotionally resilient, that I am that mentally resilient, and that realizing life stuff doesn't have to mean that you can't enjoy what you were enjoying before. It is a very long-winded video to get to that point. I really hope that me just saying this, maybe making someone think about it, will help somebody out there. Maybe they'll think about a situation they went through that they didn't handle very well, or they went through something that made them not want to do what they love. I hope that maybe they watch this and they see what they could do again, and they see that they could do better. We're all human. Things happen. Most of us feel human emotions, and sometimes those human emotions are hard to get through. So anyway, that's the whole gist of what I wanted to make this video about. I do want to quickly go into the future of this channel, a couple ideas that I have for the future, and a couple of things that I am working on. So I am working on a fitness journey kind of video using old videos from when I was bigger. and maybe put my own spin on it, kind of talking about my experience with it, what I did, what helped me, and the realisticness of it. So I am working on that, and I would like to get an actual camera for this channel at some point. That way I can film somewhere else and really put into how I envision this channel going into action. And really what I want to do requires some kind of camera. But I'll figure all that out, and that'll be in the future. As for right now, I still am streaming Rebirth. If you want to go check it out on YouTube, it's Daese Entertainment, and on Twitch, it's Daese Live. Everything is in the description. And there's always the music, you know, just Daese, D-A-E-S-E. Go to that channel. I've been making music on that channel for years. And I have seen that somebody else has the same name now. So just make sure you go to the one with like 24 subscribers or whatever, with the picture and, you know, the orange, and this says Daese on it. You know what it is. It's like the same as this one, but orange. That's a whole thing. But anyway, I hope this video maybe helps somebody, and I hope that maybe this provided some entertainment, closure, something to your life that is positive and not at all negative. But this has been Daese, and peace. I'll see you next time.